Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Community leaders, longtime partners, our incredible staff, devoted fans, and people I've come to call friends. This room is full of people who care, and that means everything. For those I've not had the chance to meet yet, my name is Slater Fuchs, and I have the honor of serving as General Manager of the Frederick Keys. And I do not use that word honor lightly. It is the privilege of a lifetime to be part of something that means so much to so many. Today is emotional. This moment has been years in the making. We have had to fight for it. We have had to believe in it, even when the future felt uncertain. And while I'm not the one who will share the news that brought us all here, I will tell you this: it is big. It is the kind of moment that reminds you why you never give up. Because the Frederick Keys have never been a baseball team, they've always meant more. This team lives in the heart of this city. For more than 3 decades, this ballpark has been our front porch, a place where strangers become neighbors, where families have a way of showing up. Where parents and grandparents bring the next generation and say, this is our where we have all come, we not feel like our own. Our staff and quiet courage and conviction, with advice, and support. We continue to show up with energy, pride, love for this team. Kind of support is not often. When it does, you can turn it. That is what today is about. The edge of something new, a new chapter that feels familiar, a chance to carry the franchise, pride, with purpose, with the community. Right at the I could not be more proud of her and now his promise. There is not just about baseball. It's about what happens when a community comes together, when leaders step up, when people believe. That is what makes days possible. That is what makes Frederick special. With that said, it is now my great honor to introduce someone who has been instrumental in helping shape. Please join me in welcoming the founder and CEO of Attain Sports, Greg Baroni.
That's a hard one to follow up there. Thank you, Slater. Well, good afternoon. I cannot believe that we're here today, and I have this long announcement build-up, but I want to get right to it. So I just want to say on behalf of Attain Sports and the Frederick Keys community here, I am so absolutely thrilled to be announcing that officially the next chapter of Frederick Keys baseball history, and what's probably the worst kept secret in the world, affiliated professional baseball is coming back here to the Frederick community. Started in the 2026 season and with the partnership with the Baltimore Orioles. So, thank you. There we go. And that's a perfect symbol of what we're all about here. Slater, you did such a wonderful job summarizing this. I'll tell you, this journey for us began back in 2021, late in 2021, when we assumed the ownership of the Frederick Keys, and we were at that time not sure what we were entering into. Rich Robertson and myself, we were the first owners of this franchise, and I remember my first experience, and I actually said something to the mayor here. You know, my first experience was one of our scoreboards needed some help just to get operational the next season. And I don't like to say anything real negative, but the prior owner said to me, you know, they want to do this. If I were you, you know, this should be on them. Mayor's, the fellow that's, I don't think he's here, which is Richard Griffin, he approached me and he asked me, he said, Greg, this, you know, all we need is really a equal partnership here. Would you be interested in splitting the cost of renovating? I said, absolutely. This is about partnership. And of course, I participated. I remember Kelly and, you know, Daryl, Katie, we're missing 2 of the aldermen. I remember meeting all of you, and I think there was a sense of anticipation and hope that this would turn into a partnership. And I remember the meeting very vividly. And I have to say, what I've enjoyed more than anything is being embraced by this community as a family member. And that sense of family is what this is all about. And it's, you know, I learned through as Rich and I did, we did a listening tour, and we learned a lot about the Frederick baseball history, the history of, you know, here it is right across the street, Francis Scott Key. Part of the journey was learning not only the importance of baseball. I mean, just think of it. If I just summarize the history here, you know, it's hard to believe, but more than a century and a decade, baseball has been rooted here. That's like almost half of our nation's history. Back then, known in various names of the Hustlers, the Champs, the Warriors. But I think for 31 years, most recently, it was known as the Frederick Keys, the Baltimore Orioles High A affiliate. And during that time, there were so many generations of families that we would meet with. We'd sit in the fans, I remember Rich and I, and we would hear from them how important it would be to return a Baltimore Orioles affiliate right here. And I remember thinking to myself, and of course Matt Blood here is head of player personnel development for the Baltimore Orioles. He and I would talk philosophically, and I was beginning to think, you know, the Baltimore Orioles have something very special here in this community. It allows them to build what I call vertical integration. And I thought to myself, Frederick, the gateway to Western Maryland, ought to be part of that precipice of building toward. And so, you know, the fact that you had such a rich history, returning a Baltimore Orioles affiliate was really highest priority for me. And of course, that doesn't happen without partnership. I needed the city to do its part, the county to do its part, I needed the state to do its part. And I can't tell you, like if I had a dream of the best private-public partnership in the world, I would actually write a case study for Harvard Business Review right here, because that's what it's been like. You know, today, you know, this historic milestone we're honored to be part of is a realizing of a vision that really, as much as it's attributed to me, is really the community's vision. It's the Baltimore Orioles vision. It's a shared vision. And I think that's when visions really come to life, is when, in fact, and you can, I don't know if you know this, but I'm not even listening to or reading my notes here. But it's because this came from the heart. And it came because of all of you fueling and inspiring that vision. And I just can't tell you. There's a lot of improvements. I want to just make sure I acknowledge all the improvements that really have brought this about. You're going to get to see brand new clubhouses, batting cages that I think are state-of-the-art that you're not going to see in any other kinds of stadiums except Chesapeake. Actually, I think Del Mar was doing the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. So I think, but again, I attribute that to partnership because, frankly, the Baltimore Orioles and their leadership, they had a vision for the kind of baseball cages that would really set their team apart. And it was wonderful to see them share that vision with us, and we helped to bring it to life with our partnership. And I'll talk about them in a minute. But you know, the improvements you're about ready to see here, unveil here at the beginning of the 2026 season, are really made in that spirit of public-private partnership I talked about earlier. I don't know if I have anybody from MSA here, the Maryland Stadium Authority. There we are back there. But everybody from the chair of the board, Craig Thompson. I think the on-the-ground person here that we always see is Chris Daramek. You know, but they've been a wonderful partnership. The city of Frederick, starting with you. And I always say leadership starts from tone at the top. And great leadership, and I attribute it to you, Michael, for the great partnership you've struck with us. And I know I get to hear from you later here, but that's been, you know, literally on, you know, and I got to say too, Richard Griffin, he's not here. You know, Mark Diocampo, who's since moved on, the aldermen here, 3 of which I get the joy of. You know, Derek has actually had the ability to throw out a couple first pitches here. We're going to get Katie Nash and Kelly to do it eventually too. But you know, it's that spirit of partnership. You can't find those things. That's why I said a Harvard Business Review case study can't do enough justice to it. You know, I have to start there, and I've already jumped to really a lot of my gratitude and acknowledgement here, because this vision doesn't come about without all of that here. So I'm going to do my best, if you'll indulge me here, to take a moment here to continue to do that. First, thank you to my fellow owners from, you know, Attain Sports. You know, Rich has been steadfast with me. You know that he and I have actually worked together for over 40 years. You know, he's like a family member now to me. You don't know that my son Joseph is actually also a part owner. We're going to get him to throw out a first pitch here. He has to do a makeup after what happened in Chesapeake. So anyway, thank you to the Baltimore Orioles. And I got to say this. You know, this is kind of a funny anecdote that you may not realize. How many of you remember the very first Little League team you ever played on? See, most of you do. Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, and at a time when the Los Angeles Dodgers were still, this is going to date me here, but when the Los Angeles Dodgers were first getting there. And of course, when you're playing in Little League, you're going to take professional baseball names. You're not going to believe the name of the professional baseball team I would play on as my very first team. The Orioles. And I have pictures to prove it. And so when this opportunity to become a Baltimore Orioles affiliate owner began, I was like, it's serendipity. It's supposed to be. In my first, or maybe it's our second month, I meet some of the leadership of the Baltimore Orioles. It starts with Kent Qualls, and he says, Kent says to me, you have to meet our general manager. He's here. By the way, we were in Florida in spring training at Ed Smith Field, and I meet this gentleman over here, Mike Elias. And I was just so taken by his vision, his leadership, his confidence as a leader. Now, I don't know, some of you guys you may second guess it. I don't second guess it. I do my homework. That's what I always do. And I do my listening tour. And I got to tell you, and I don't care whether anybody has their opinion, he's the best general manager in professional baseball. And we are so privileged that in the state of Maryland and the Baltimore Orioles, we get Mike Elias. And so, Mike, I just want to make sure we acknowledge you. So many other people in the Baltimore Orioles organization. I would meet Jennifer Grandal, and I've enjoyed the partnership with you, Jennifer. With Matt, you know, we've had this relationship. You know, one of the things that you don't know as a minor league owner, and I had to be educated by Matt, the importance of player development. Because what happens, I don't know about you, but I get attached to the players, and I want them to stay here. But the progression requires that they move on. And there are times when I would look at Matt with what are you, Darth Vader? You going to take my players here? He quickly became known by that amongst my team. But Matt, I know you're one of the best in the industry, and we're privileged to have you here. Mark, it's privileged getting to know you. I don't know if you know this. Mark actually started his career here in Frederick, and what is it, like in the early '90s, right? When Frederick, the Keys were just getting started here. So again, Baltimore Orioles, I love the partnership with you. Where's the Oriole bird? He's still there. I love it. To the city of Frederick, I've already acknowledged you, Mike, and your alderman. Richard, I'm going to move on here. I also have to say a heartfelt thanks to Jessica. I've gotten to know her over the years. To the county of Frederick, is so committed to baseball being here. Her and her partner there, Christy Butler, who I met in the last opportunity here. But Jessica, I've really enjoyed the relationship and the true commitment to partnership. So thank you. Grover Breckenridge, where are you here? Are you here? I wanted to acknowledge you, for your oversight and significant contributions to the stadium improvements. To our design build team, Whiting, Turner, Little, and I just raise your hand so everybody can see who you are. You're sitting in the back, but I got to tell you, we have weekly calls. I have been blessed because our ownership group also has some great staff. And I've started to transition my responsibilities. I participated in those calls weekly. And as we kind of transition from design to build, Ellen Walsh, who I've not had a chance to acknowledge yet. By the way, please acknowledge, Ellen is my right hand, left hand, and every hand person that makes things possible here. But she's now taken over the weekly calls. But Whiting, Turner, Little, you've been an outstanding partner. Your creativity and your commitment to our project has been amazing. The Canopy Tea, and I know I saw Carolyn, there you are, Carolyn Stacy. Long before we had money, they were partnering with us. So Janet Marie Smith and her team, it was, part of the listening tours, you got to get around and figure out who are the great architects. Because if you got a vision on renovating a stadium, you want the best. And Janet Marie and Carolyn, you were her extension here. But she kind of shared that vision with us, and with that vision, you're going to see a lot of the artifacts come to life here. I can't go without acknowledge our sponsors, and in particular our field name sponsor with Nimeo. The two of them here, I got to tell you, from Nimeo Federal Credit Union, the two of you as leaders here and representatives of your company, we really appreciate the partnership, and thank you for staying with us. And of course, I haven't said anything about our fans. A lot of you better be fans too, because I know I'm fan crazy. So, but you season ticket holders, always say fans are the heart and soul of any team, and this community has truly braved the point to getting to this. I can't imagine what it was like in 2020 when you first learned that you wouldn't have an affiliated team. But today, August 1st, write it down. It should always be in your memory, 2025. This is your day, because this is where the first official demarcation happens. As I've shared before, this effort has been far more than the bricks and mortar that will serve as the edifice here. It's actually going to be, it's actually been the heart, it's been the community. So, Slater, you said it well here. This is a place where memories are made, where the future stars of the Baltimore Orioles will take the field, and you'll get to see them as in the early part of their journey, and where all fans can continue to enjoy America's pastime. Thank you to everyone that's played a role in making this vision a reality. Your vision, your dedication to the partnership has really brought us this incredible milestone. So we can't wait to be welcoming fans back to a revitalized ballpark here with many more incredible seasons of affiliated professional baseball with the Baltimore Orioles. So thank you very much.
As we continue this exciting moment for the Frederick Keys and for the entire, and for all of us, it is only fitting that we hear from someone who has played a vital role in supporting not only this team, but the broader vision of what sports, entertainment, and the community can mean for the city of Frederick. He is a lifelong resident, a passionate public servant, and a tireless advocate for growth and opportunity across our city. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of the city of Frederick, Michael O'Connor.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today on what is another important day in the history of this community. I was a year out of college in 1989 when professional baseball came to Frederick. As an Orioles affiliate and growing up as an Orioles fan, even at that age, I had the excitement that a child would have about having a dream come true in their community of the ability to go and watch professional baseball and see the players start their journey to the Orioles right here in this community and in our backyard. I remember seeing Ben McDonald at McCurdy Field. It wasn't long after that I went to work for the cable company, and we telecast about a dozen games a year in this stadium. I've run center field camera, first base camera, worked in the truck, been in the booth, a chance to see baseball from a lot of different perspectives. And as a fan, as someone that wanted to get into sports, and ultimately it's pretty clear that I'm not in sports, it was part of the dream that can come true. Brian Roberts, Arthur Rhodes, Nick Markakis, Manny Machado, Matt Wieters, being able to see players that would go on to have fantastic careers in Baltimore and elsewhere play on this field, in this city, in this community, something that as a kid I could never have imagined was even possible. And that experience is an experience that is, for me, unforgettable, and it's the experience that we want to recreate for every young person, every family that walks through these gates and watches baseball here at Nimio Field and Harry Grove Stadium. It's about what we do today, but it's about making sure that we're always building for the next generation of this community as well. I remember the phone call when Mike Elias called me to give me the bad news based on the decision that Major League Baseball had made about contraction, that the Orioles were not going to be renewing their affiliation with the Frederick Keys. I understood what I was being told because I knew what Major League Baseball standards were, and this stadium simply didn't meet the mark. And I was disappointed that this stadium didn't meet the mark because we'd had that unbroken run of support and collaboration. I promised Mike that day that I would not abuse having, at that time, his personal cell phone number. I don't know if he still has the same number. I don't think I've ever called him. So I followed through my promise not to. I said I'm not going to call you up and give you any advice about anything that's baseball related. You know, everybody thinks they're a genius when you're watching from the stands or at home on television. We knew it was not about community support. We knew this community would support baseball no matter what it looked like in this community because, to the point that Greg made, it always has, and I know that it always will. We've loved having the draft league here in Frederick. We loved our season of the ghost towns here in Frederick. But the vision has always been to bring affiliated minor league baseball back, not because the mayor is a baseball fan. Let's be clear, not for that reason, but because this opportunity to create what I often talk about as a full-service city is about how we use all the resources at our disposal to create economic drivers, community connections, and creating an identity for Frederick that is unique. There are only so many communities across this country that get to say they are minor league baseball towns, and today, Frederick returns to that list. And Attain came as the right partner at the right time. They had that same vision. Greg, I've never heard that story before about your days as a Little League baseball player. You were kind of playing it a little bit tough when I was saying, I really want an Orioles affiliate, Greg. I'd really love to have an Orioles affiliate. And we're like, well, we'll see what we can do. I don't know. It turns out I always should have known. If I'd have known that story back then, I would have known that it was going to be an Orioles affiliate when it finally came through. We appreciate the partnership that you've provided. As you've said, it is about the private sector and the public sector working together. The public dollars that built this stadium and the public dollars now that are renovating this stadium to make it possible for the private sector to do what they do cannot be underestimated, and we will see the long-term economic benefits of having a tourism attraction, something that will bring people into this community, something that will serve as a source of community and civic pride for decades to come. Greg has talked about partnership, and it is not possible to do my job. It's not possible, frankly, I think, to do any job if you don't have strong partners. And I want to acknowledge the partnership that I have on the City Council here in the City of Frederick. Council President Nash, Council Vice President Shackelford, Council Member Russell. The work that we do together. We don't always have to agree on everything and the way we do it, but what I'm grateful for is that we will always have the conversation, and we will always find a way to work together, to work forward for what is best for this community. Our county partners are here with the county executive. I see Senator Folden here from our Frederick County State Delegation, Christy Butler representing the Comptroller's Office. We do this work at the city level, at the county level, at the state level, and in many instances, with certain things that we do, are partners at the federal level. It's not possible if we don't have those partnerships. And the work that was done to get the Maryland Stadium Authority to bring forward the dollars with the support of the legislature to allow for the renovation of this facility that's now taking place is the partnership that is bringing affiliated baseball back to the city of Frederick. Thank you, Major League Baseball, for always believing in this community. I believed when Major League Baseball placed a draft league team in this ballpark during those years, it was because Major League Baseball always recognized that this was a baseball town and that this deserved an affiliated baseball team. And once we crossed the check boxes off that we needed to of getting this facility to where it needed to be, that Major League Baseball would recognize that and affiliated baseball would be back in Frederick. I never hesitated from that belief, which is why the work that we did to get the stadium improvements was so important. This is an opportunity for us to create a hub of activity, a hub that supports our private sector community, our small businesses, the sponsors that support this team. All of this is about driving opportunity for small businesses and our community to grow and prosper, to create the best economic development tool we can ever offer anyone in our community, and that's a job. And the work that gets done here today is about creating jobs, jobs that build the facility and jobs that build the community that will support this work for decades to come. This is more than a win for the state of Maryland. It's more than a win for the county of Frederick, more than a win for the city of Frederick. It's what happens when people who care about something sit down and figure out a way to work together to make it happen. I said when we broke ground on these improvements that I love this game. And one of the things that I love about this game is the absolute opportunity that each team that plays always has every game. Everybody gets an equal opportunity to win. Everybody gets an opportunity to bat last. There is an advantage to being the home team. That's certainly an advantage with us here today at Frederick. We're grateful to be the home team today. Thank you for bringing this back to the city of Frederick, but more importantly, for believing in what this community is and can be. Thank you so much.
It is now my honor to introduce someone who has dedicated her career to serving the people of Frederick County. As county executive, she's been a strong advocate for smart growth, education, and community development, and a valued supporter of organizations like ours. Please join me in welcoming Frederick County Executive Jessica Fitzwater.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so pleased to be here and really honored to be here to celebrate this incredible announcement on a beautiful day in the city of Frederick, in the best county in the state of Maryland, Frederick County. This is actually my second time around a construction site this week with Mayor O'Connor. I was excited for him to join us on Tuesday for the groundbreaking at Yellow Springs Elementary School, and I'm excited to join him today for this special announcement. I bring that up because our community is growing and thriving, and when we think about the future, we think about our students and our families, and what is a better place to think about that right here at the Keys Stadium, the Nimeo Field at Harry Grove Stadium. This is also my second time at the ballpark this week. I was excited to join Rick Weldon, who I know is here somewhere, with the Chamber of Commerce and his incredible team for celebrating their 1,000th organizational member, and to watch our Keys beat State College. Now, the mayor already talked about our incredible small business community, which is truly the backbone of our county. But the fact that our chamber, the oldest chamber in the state, is celebrated their 1,000th member this summer is a testament to this community, that we embrace our small businesses, that we embrace opportunities for growth and improvement, and look for ways for everybody to thrive. So today we're gathered to celebrate one of those opportunities and to celebrate this big news that affiliated baseball is returning to Frederick. Now, when we gathered here several weeks ago, I did make my obligatory joke about the fact that I'm not exactly known as being the biggest sports fan. I don't usually have the gear, but I have a Frederick Keys shirt, as you noticed, because that is our home team, and I've spent many times here, not only with my own family, my children, but also as a kid, coming across the mountain from Smithsburg, coming to see the games. In fact, my daughter was singing the Star Spangled Banner on Tuesday with the Frederick Children's Chorus here, and my son was unsuccessful in his attempt to win the Mattress Warehouse sheep race during the 5th inning, but he had fun, so that's what's most important. No, this morning when my team told me there was a fire sale at the trade deadline and the Orioles picked up a bunch of minor league prospects we might see playing in Frederick, I shared their excitement, even though I maybe didn't fully understand the sentence that came out of their mouth. But that's okay, because what I do know is that Nimeo Field at Harry Grove Stadium is a wonderful place for families like mine to watch baseball, a wonderful place for us to see these incredible players grow their careers, and it's so exciting to see affiliated baseball back here in Frederick County, and especially affiliated with the Orioles. I have to also thank the Maryland Stadium Authority, the strategic investment that they saw fit to make in our community so that this stadium can meet the Major League Baseball's player development standards. It'll make it an even better place for athletes to play baseball and for fans to come and enjoy this incredible American pastime. So I'm looking forward to joining you to watch our Orioles-affiliated Frederick Keys baseball play here for many years to come. And I brought my one other piece of sports attire with me today, too. Thanks, everybody.
It is now my pleasure to introduce one of the most respected executives in Major League Baseball. Under his leadership, the Baltimore Orioles have built one of the game's top farm systems and positioned themselves for long-term success. His vision and commitment to player development have a profound impact on the entire organization. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Baltimore Orioles, Mike Elias.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Slater. As happy as the city of Frederick is about this, the county of Frederick, the people of Frederick, as happy as Greg and Rich and his team are, the Orioles are happier. Like this is, we love that this is happening. We know what kind of great market this is. It's such a key part of Maryland. It's such a key part of our regional draw. And we also love this stadium. This is a really historic, cool minor league ballpark, and to have this back in the fold, both for the Orioles but also for minor league baseball, is huge. So I just want to thank everyone that worked to make this happen. First, I want to acknowledge other executives from the Orioles that are here, Mark Fine and Jennifer Grandal from our communications department, Matt Blood, Kent Qualls, Mike Snyder, who's a Frederick resident, is very happy about this. got some other folks here along with the bird, so this is a big deal for us. Greg and Rich, thank you. I knew you could pull this off. It seems like it's been nothing but good stuff since you got into our system and bought a couple of our minor league teams. You've just been an awesome addition to our organization, and please keep it going. It's been renovations and great management, and the more that you guys own, the merrier as far as we're concerned. I'm also happy that now when we promote a guy out of high A, he's going to go to your affiliate in double A, and you won't get the angry phone call, Matt. So that all, what's your vertical integration, right? That's all synchronicity. So yeah, we're just tickled and thrilled about this all around. Mayor O'Connor, in my job, I make thousands of difficult phone calls. I remember that one vividly. It was a very hard phone call. It was in the middle of COVID. I was doing it from my house, and you kind of knew it was coming, and you were disappointed in the news, but you were so determined and optimistic, and you basically pledged that you guys would do what it would take to get the team back, and it's not even 5 years, and you pulled it off. So that's incredibly impressive, and I really appreciate you doing that because we're really happy about this. Jessica, nice to meet you, and looking forward to coming back here more. You know, that's all I got. We've got the farm system it's a lifeblood if you're a team like the Orioles, and to be back in Frederick, which is booming, and I just learned is the second largest municipality in the state of Maryland. It's a big deal for us. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming today. We can't wait to play Orioles minor league baseball back here in 2026. Thank you. Slater, look forward to working with you.
That concludes our program today. Thank you all for being here today. Media interviews will be available on the concourse. Lunch is still available. Thanks again for joining us today, and welcome back to Birdland.